I move we approve the vouchers in the total of $788,878.49, and the two payrolls that were paid, and $320,133.60 for a total of $1,109,012.09. Also, that we approve the minutes from the last two meetings that we've had as a board.
Second.
Moved by Steve, seconded by Kevin, all in favor. Everyone voted yes, 5-0. Patrons' comments, we have a few administration in the room. Anyone have any patrons' comments? If not, you watch the video later. I suggest that you ask the administration office if you have any questions about tonight's meeting. We'll move on to the public hearing for the collective bargaining.
This just allows any feedback as we prepare for bargaining. Obviously, that is allowed to begin on September 15th. So we will be meeting with the Teachers Association coming at the end of August. But we will begin formal bargaining on September 15th if there's any questions or concerns on that agenda item.
We're going to move on to personnel.
All right, I recommend the personnel agenda as presented. I'll go ahead and go through some of these that are in the kind of the same category, so we can go ahead and. So I recommend the approval of the resignation of Ted Fisher, Sarah Kaufman, Greg Oleniziak, Jessica Firestone, and Jason Groves. Ted is the resignation of the technology director. Sarah will be resigning her elementary cafeteria position. Greg, the resignation of the high school custodian. Jessica, resignation of the sub bus driver. And then Jason Groves is resigning from the junior class sponsor.
I move we approve those resignations as presented.
Second.
It's been moved by Steve, seconded by Ken. All in favor? Everyone votes yes. Motion passes 5-0.
I recommend the approval of Christy Richardson to be the sub teacher for Bree Montevena, who is with child and will be having that later on this year.
I move we hire Christy Richardson. Second.
It's moved by Wes, seconded by Kevin. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Everyone voted yes.
I recommend the approval of Jordan Breeden as technology director. He's joining us. He's done an awesome job the last few days just getting to know our technology. I think he's going to be an outstanding asset to our corporation, and I highly recommend his approval.
I move we approve Jordan Breeden as technology director for trade schools.
Second.
Been moved by Steve, seconded by Wes. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Everyone voted yes.
This next item, I just want to make sure we understand what's happening here. Under the previous agreement, we were able to pay for master's degrees, or as teachers were taking master's degrees in their area of specialty. And this all started back when we took away the column for master's degree, but then also the Commission on Higher Education also started saying that you needed a master's in your field to allow for that to be dual credit. So we have several people here that are listed. Brandon Young is actually applying that social studies degree to a dual credit class, but it also became very apparent to us shortly after that agreement, and this has obviously already been discussed with our union, but it also became very apparent to us that we were able to reward those that had master's degree coming from another corporation to us, but we were not able to actually reward our people for going to get a master's, and that just didn't seem in our best interest by any means. So the individuals there, Sarah Harvison and Samantha Phoenix, have gotten their master's in the field, in a recognized field of education, not an accumulation of hours to equal a master's, but they actually got their master's in a field of education. We really feel like that's a positive step for those that are already part of our system, and we can actually reward them for continuing to better themselves in the field of education.
This is a one-time payment, right?
It is an increase of $2,000 on their base. Yes, one time, but obviously over a period of time.
I move we approve these as presented.
Second.
It's been moved by Steve, seconded by Kevin. All in favor? Motion passes. Everyone voted yes.
I recommend the approval of Ashley Freed for a sub-bus driver, obviously an area of need as we continue to need backups, especially in this day and age with the possibility of people having to take long-term time off and that type of thing. So I highly recommend the approval of Ashley Freed as a sub-bus driver.
Move we approve her as the substitute bus driver.
Second.
Been moved by Ken, seconded by Steve. All in favor? Motion passes. Everyone voted yes.
I recommend the approval of Naomi Olson for a nurse's assistant. This conversation obviously started weeks ago, knowing some of the challenges that we may face and the difficulty it would be for a well-styled child versus a well-child side of a nurse's office compared to a sick child side. And just knowing that we don't want to continue to put the burden of giving medications and those type of things on our secretaries. So we really feel like, once again, this is not a change of philosophy, and we've had the conversation of normally a school our size does not have 2 nurses. So we did post a nurse's assistant. Naomi is a qualified nurse, but was interested in working in the school and was thrilled that she would get that opportunity. So I do think in this day and age that we're in, I think this is going to be a tremendous asset to both of our buildings.
I move we approve Naomi.
Second.
Moved by Steve, seconded by Kevin. All in favor? Motion passes. Everyone voted yes.
The next 2 recommendations for approval would be Morgan Hall for junior high volleyball coach and Jordan Vermillion, Jody, Vermillion for 6th grade volleyball coach. 2 brand new teachers that are willing to and said they would be willing to coach from the get-go, so that's a really positive thing. So I recommend their approval to be volleyball
I
coaches.
move we approve those 2 positions as presented.
Second.
Moved by Steve, seconded by Wes. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Everyone voted yes.
The next 2 items are the technology integration coaches. That's Casey Payton and Samantha Phoenix. The high school technology integrations coaches were approved last month. These are the elementary technology integration specialists. So I recommend their approval.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Kevin, seconded by Steve. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Everyone voted yes.
Last but not least, I recommend the approval of Taryn Meister Robbins for the junior high volleyball coach.
I move we approve her as volleyball coach.
Second.
Moved by Steve, seconded by Ken. All in favor? 5-0. Everyone voted yes. We'll now move on to business.
All right, I recommend the approval of the permission to advertise the capital projects and bus plan.
I move we approve the advertisement of the CPF and bus plan.
Second.
It's been moved by Steve, seconded by Kevin, thirded by Wes. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Everyone voted yes.
I recommend the approval of the National Asphalt Seal and Crack fill quote. Obviously, we're on a rotation of that, so we'll just continue to keep with that rotation, make sure we're proactively taking care of our parking lot.
Is this for the high school, elementary, both?
This is for the middle section.
This is all the ancillary drives, the circle around, or the circle around the high school, or in front of the high school, drive out beside the elementary, everything but the main parking lots.
Okay.
I move we approve the asphalt ceiling and,
I second.
crack fill quote.
Been moved by Wes, seconded by Steve. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Everyone voted yes.
I recommend the approval of the sale of 2 servers to Pence Products. These are the old servers.
I move it be solid.
Yeah.
Get rid of that.
Second.
Been moved by Steve, seconded by Ken. All in favor? 5-0. Motion passes. Everyone voted yes.
I recommend the approval of the auctioneer for this, sorry.
I was just kidding.
Oh, okay. Recommend the approval of the auctioneer for the sale of the surplus property at the old gym. That RFP was approved last board meeting. We had one RFP turned in, and that was ball auction. So that would be my recommendation.
So moved.
Second.
Is that the only one we got turned in?
That is the only one. Yes.
Motion by Kevin, seconded by Ken, is that right?
Yep.
All in favor? Motion passes 5-0, everyone voted yes.
All right, I approve the recommendation of the high school volleyball team fundraiser and the recommendation of approval of the revised master incentive as I discussed earlier with the individuals named.
Do we know what the fundraiser is yet?
It's
Or is
it's
there-
a barbecue.
There
Or
was
when or
something
what
in the
it
board
is.
doc.
I just didn't know what it was.
I think it's under,
What type of fundraiser?
Yeah,
It doesn't, it was on there, okay.
I don't know what
I
it is,
missed it.
so.
That's okay.
Here we go. I move we approve those.
Bruce's big deal, sorry.
Been moved by Ken, seconded by Wes. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Everyone voted yes. On to the superintendent's report.
All right, I'll begin with thank you for everybody's patience as this is recorded. We're in the middle of a power outage, which everybody's experiencing. I just did receive a message from more buyers. The storms have passed the north end of town without any damage on Main Street. Town without power. North Main Street is closed due to the power lines down. The rest of the town is okay. So we just plowed through. Like Mrs. Barnhart said, if there's any questions on any of the items that are discussed, please feel free to call the administration building. We'd be more than happy to discuss any of those items with you at your convenience. As we typically do, the core values or the superintendent's report, just reporting out on our core values, and the first one is continuous improvement. Today's administrative retreat confirms that we're all trying to continuously improve, whether that be with people we hire or the programs we work to put in place. This is constantly on our mind and continues to be a focus behind every decision. So I thank the leadership team that was able to present partially in the dark today. But once again, just like typical people, step up, plow through, and get the job done. So very, very proud of them. And today was just another example of that continuous improvement. Shared leadership, we could not be at this place we are today in preparation for inviting our scholars back to school in just 1 week without a lot of time, effort, and focus on how best to make this happen in an efficient and safe manner. Again, our administrative retreat very quickly shows that we have the right people in their strength area, and never before have I been so confident that we have the right people on our team. People we trust and will prove to benefit Triton School Corporation in the very near future. Social responsibility. I've been in communication with the town and will continue to be as it relates to the presence in our school building during the start of the school year for the beginning of the day and dismissal, and how we can continue to work together for the safety of our students. The town of Bourbon provided the corporation and community with signage to remind people to slow down on their commute. And though you'll be seeing those coming out in a road near you very soon. They've also put time and effort into helping us implement the new traffic pattern, which includes newly painted crosswalks, solar-powered signage, and assistance with how to best route the cars in the AM and PM pickup and drop-off. So they were part of that process because I didn't feel like I was necessarily the expert on traffic patterns, and I wanted to make sure that that wasn't going to affect the town in a negative way. So they were part of those conversations. Accountability, the Triton School Corporation teachers and staff have put a lot of time and effort into being prepared for many different scenarios, knowing that things have been known to change in a matter of minutes. Over the last week, since receiving the news of us pushing back our start date, they have continued to work towards being as proficient as possible in order to best present their lessons to students who will be opting out. I think it is imperative to once again state that we do not have a desire to become a virtual school. However, we will be prepared if called upon to do so. High expectations. Our newly hired technology integration coaches under the direction of Mrs. LaSure have continued to prepare and proactively plan for parent communication as it relates to Google Classroom, and teacher communication in the area of digital learning, and professional development for implementing digital lessons in an efficient manner. We heard our parents loud and clear last March through June that our teacher communication, our communication with them as it relates to their classes and that type of thing needed to improve. And I think we've made a lot of decisions in the meantime to make sure that we are improving that and giving our teachers the tool to make that a little bit more efficient. And I think they appreciate that, and I think they've also put a lot of time and effort into improving that. Evidence-based decision-making, many of the decisions our corporation has made over the last 4 months, this kind of relates right to this, as it's related to digital learning, came from parent feedback. Group meetings, individual meetings, and planning sessions showed that communication was an area that could improve, and we are confident that steps are being taken to better this for our scholars and their families if and when needed. Alignment, Triton Transportation and Maintenance Departments have worked hard to ensure the type of cleaning solution is consistent with what is being used in the classroom. Time and effort has also been put in to make sure we are training staff effectively when it comes to the strategies, consisting of, but not limited to, sit time of solution, techniques of spraying, whether to wipe or not to wipe, etc. for in our classroom. So Mr. Gephardt, Laura Baker put a lot of time and effort into preparing their staff, and/or I believe Mrs. Baker's meeting with the transportation bus drivers is on Wednesday. So they will be going over a lot of those strategies for the bus routes. So I believe that's all I have for now.
All
Unless
right,
there's any questions.
thank you. Once again, since there's no patrons that can voice their opinion, if you see the video and you want to ask questions, please call the administration office. So we'll go on to building report, the elementary.
All right, well, since our last board meeting in July, there's been lots of teacher training. And again, I also want to thank Melissa for that. She has the desire and the know-how to make all those things work. So not just the technology, there have been webinars, there's been on-site instruction, there's been for digital learning, new teacher induction, assessment training, instructional assistants were just trained with technology today. So I think there's just been a lot of that going on since our last board meeting. We had a successful on-site registration, a great response. Over 400 students were registered on-site at the elementary in those 2 days. We were super excited about that. We got a lot of things ironed out with regard to transportation, etc. We had preschool orientation also in the end of July. We had all 18 families actually attended, and then we added 2 more later, which was a great start. Our playground structure is complete, which culminates at least 1.5 years of planning. The surface is still curing, but it will be open soon and ready for kids on day 1 of school. I think they'll be really happy with so many new things to try out. We're anxious to get back to business and see staff and students on site on Monday. We've made a lot of changes for a safe re-entry, I think, with the least amount of change possible to the basic schedule. We're trying to limit personal contact by adjusting our schedules and altering some of our routines to limit that personal contact and exposure to normally high-touch areas. We're not sharing school supplies, work areas, etc. We've changed tables in some of the lower preschool and kindergarten so that kids have individual desks and we can spread them out a little bit easier and keep personal things personal. The use of masks, hand sanitizer, and hand washing, of course, will also help prevent the spread of germs. I think we're going to be learning some new habits that are going to keep everyone safe, and I think they're going to, some of them are going to continue on, past phase 1. We appreciate everyone's flexibility and understanding through the time. The technology department and maintenance have been working all summer to get everything ready and that's a lot of behind the scenes things that people don't see. And teachers have been in to prepare the classrooms. Kindergarten are making contacts and inviting individual families into the building instead of going out into the homes and making those visits. But we're hoping that will make lessen the anxiety that some of those kindergartners and their parents have on day 1. We're also promoting a late start on the very first day of school, since we're not allowing visitors, including parents, into the building. Allowing preschool and kindergarten to come between 8:15 and 8:30 to door 2. They can walk them up. We have some props. They can take pictures of their kids before they enter, and then their kids they'll be greeted by a staff member, at least one or two, and escorted into the building so they can get right to their classes. And that will be day one. It's not the same as being able to walk them to their classes or coming to open house, but we hope that will help. We've also given name tags at registration to everybody that has their teacher name on it. So any kid who comes in any door will if they wear that, then I think it'll be real easy for any adult to point them in the right direction should they not know where to go. Any
Another
questions?
step, Christine, I think is important, talking about transportation, is the little animal that they will have to make sure they get on the right bus.
Right, so all the bus drivers, Laura's having all the bus drivers assign them an animal, and they'll have a picture of that animal in their window or somewhere on the bus, so that they can see. And then all of the kids who ride that bus, Angie has made labels for them with their actual bus number, but their picture on it too, and their names, so that they can have that and easily identify. People can help them find it, and they can easily identify. We'll probably do that for at least the first 3 or 4 days for those kids. We're also doing a rolling dismissal, which I wanted to do for years anyway. So now that we have COVID, we're going to do that, where we just dismiss a couple grades at a time as we empty the building in a safer way, rather than having a lot of people all at once. I think that's also going to help kids get on the right buses when they get out there. It'll slow that up just a little bit, and it will come in waves instead of all at once.
And the drop off in the morning is different as well. We're pulling up and dropping off starting at 7:50. The first bus will come up, drop off those students. The next bus will not drop off till all those students are in the building. So we're trying to keep it so it's not a mass. Keep it down a little bit. I failed to say that in the presentation earlier.
And we may have to tweak that as we go,
Yeah.
but we'll see. I think that will help.
Okay. High school?
So as Christine said, registration on July 27th and 28th. So since then, up until today, we've had approximately 400 students register at the high school. And just talking with the secretaries, we have about 22, I think they said today, students that they anticipate still registering that has not yet. So we're reaching out to those families and trying to make contact with them. So we hope to see that number grow. Ken, Marcel, Mindy did a great job at registration, so kudos to them. Appreciate all of their help. For the digital learning option for students, we've had approximately 35 students on the junior, senior high school side sign up for that. But I will say today we made phone calls to those families, and due to those phone calls, 3 of those kids have made the decision to go ahead and come back. So we've actually reduced that number a little bit. So that was kind of exciting to hear that. I think people appreciate our plan and what we're doing, and they feel safe to come back to school. 7th grade orientation, that was supposed to happen some time ago, but we held off on that, and we decided to do a more virtual option. So Orion helped us record that orientation and provide information to families, and we're hoping to push that out to them yet this week, so that our 7th graders feel more comfortable as they come back to the school next week. The junior, senior high school put together a digital learning committee, and that was made up of 5 teachers. Melissa's on that committee, Mason, myself, and the idea there is for this committee to just take a look at how can we make the digital learning option just more efficient and providing a better product for our students and the families. And just a lot of really good conversation as we've gone through that process. I'd like to thank Bruce and his crew. They've done a great job at the junior, senior high school, and I think that building is ready for kids and staff. Looking forward to have kids in the building. Put a lot of work into this, and I think they're excited, we're excited, and I'm really looking forward to Monday. And then just the last thing, more of on a personal note, is I just want to thank everybody, the board, the administrative team here, staff. I've met some students, community members, and I have felt very welcome since my start here, and I am looking forward to it. So thank you very much.
Wonderful. If there is no other business, we will move to adjourn at 7:32.